Then into a costume, a too-tight satin bathing suit and black leotards. More coverage, probably, than you'd find on the beach. It just looks barer. My matching shoes would fit one size larger than I normally take. This job is hardest on the feet.
When Playboy magazine first appeared in 1953, it marked a turning point in American popular culture. Founded by Hugh Hefner, the magazine combined nudity with journalism, fiction, and lifestyle content aimed at presenting a sophisticated vision of male leisure and modern living. While much attention has been paid to the magazine itself, one of the most enduring and influential elements of the Playboy empire emerged several years later in physical form, the Playboy Bunny. Selling a fantasy.
Well, the bunny dip is the way you serve a trick. You know, you wouldn't want to bend over, right, with the way we were dressed in our little costumes. We had to be ladylike, so we had a certain posture. It was a job that required a dedication and hard work.
The Playboy Bunny originated with the opening of the first Playboy Club in Chicago in 1960. Hefner envisioned these clubs as real-world manifestations of the Playboy lifestyle, offering an exclusive environment where men could drink, socialize, and feel part of an urbane elite culture. Central to this experience were the women who worked there, whose appearance and demeanor were designed to reinforce the club's fantasy. The bunny costume, inspired by Playboy's rabbit logo and designed to evoke both innocence and sexuality, was meticulously crafted and trademarked. Its elements, corseted bodice, satin ears, cuffs, bow tie, and cotton tail, were instantly recognizable and carefully standardized. Women who became Playboy bunnies were not simply servers. They were performers trained to embody a specific ideal. The hiring process was competitive and selective, with applicants evaluated on appearance, posture, charm, and the ability to present confidence under pressure. Once hired, bunnies underwent structured training that taught them how to walk, stand, smile, and interact with customers in ways that were alluring but controlled. One of the most famous techniques was the bunny dip, a precise movement developed to allow women to serve drinks while wearing strapless corsets without spilling or bending improperly. This level of choreography underscored how little of the bunny role was left to chance. Behind the glamorous image was an extensive system of rules governing nearly every aspect of a bunny's professional and personal life. Playboy maintained detailed manuals outlining standards of appearance, conduct, and behavior. Weight limits were strictly enforced, often allowing only a few pounds of fluctuation from a bunny's original measurements. Regular weigh-ins were common, and exceeding the limit could result in suspension or dismissal. Hair length, color, and styling were regulated, as were makeup choices and nail polish shades. Bunnies were not permitted to alter their appearance without approval, reinforcing the idea that their bodies were part of the company's visual property. Behavioral expectations were equally strict. Bunnies were prohibited from dating patrons, accepting gifts, or engaging in personal relationships with customers. Conversations were expected to be friendly and flirtatious, but never intimate. The illusion of availability was central to the brand, but actual availability was forbidden. Outside of work, bunnies were expected to uphold the Playboy image, and conduct deemed inappropriate or embarrassing to the brand could lead to termination. In this way, the role extended beyond working hours and into a woman's broader social life. The physical demands of the job were significant. Corsets were tight and restrictive, heels were high, and shifts could last many hours. Some former bunnies later described chronic discomfort, bruising, and fatigue as part of the daily routine. Despite this, many women sought and retained these positions because of the benefits they offered. Pay was higher than most service jobs available to women at the time, and tips could be substantial. In some locations, Playboy clubs provided benefits that were uncommon in the hospitality industry, including health insurance and structured advancement opportunities. For many women, being a Playboy bunny offered a degree of financial independence and social mobility that was otherwise difficult to attain in the 1960s and 70s. The role could open doors to careers in modeling, entertainment, and media. Playboy promoted the idea that bunnies were not only attractive, but also intelligent, capable, and ambitious, a narrative that helped distinguish the brand from more overtly exploitative forms of adult entertainment. This framing allowed Playboy to position itself as progressive, even as it enforced rigid control over its female employees. The cultural meaning of the Playboy bunny has long been debated, particularly within feminist discourse. Critics argued the bunny role reduced women to decorative objects and reinforced male dominance, packaging control and surveillance in the language of glamour and opportunity. The emphasis on physical perfection and obedience seemed to exemplify broader societal pressures placed on women's bodies. At the same time, some former bunnies and scholars have pointed out that the role must be understood within its historical context. For women with limited career options, the bunny position could be a source of pride, confidence, and autonomy. Many women viewed their work as a performance rather than a submission, and some found empowerment in mastering the demands of the role. Race also played a significant role in the history of the Playboy bunny. In its early years, Playboy clubs reflected the segregation common in American society, but Playboy became one of the first major nightlife chains to integrate its workforce and clientele. The hiring of black bunnies and the enforcement of racially inclusive policies distinguished Playboy from many competitors and contributed to its reputation as socially progressive. While integration did not eliminate inequality or bias, it represented a meaningful departure from industry norms and allowed the bunny image to take on additional cultural significance. As the Playboy brand expanded internationally, the bunny became a global icon. Clubs opened in major cities across Europe and Asia, exporting a distinctly American vision of glamour and sexuality. While local customs influenced certain aspects of club operations, the bunny image remained tightly controlled to ensure brand consistency. This global spread reinforced the bunny's status as one of the most recognizable corporate symbols in modern history. By the late 70s and 80s, changing social attitudes began to erode the popularity of the Playboy Club model. Feminist critiques gained wider acceptance, and the idea of women working under such restrictive conditions faced increasing scrutiny. At the same time, competition from other forms of entertainment reduced the novelty of the Playboy experience. Gradually, most Playboy clubs closed, marking the end of the bunny's role as a central feature of nightlife culture. But despite the decline of the clubs, the Playboy bunny didn't disappear. Instead, she became a symbol preserved through marketing, fashion, and nostalgia. The costume continued to appear in advertising, themed events, and popular culture, often detached from its original labor context. Former bunnies began sharing their stories through memoirs, interviews, and documentaries, adding complexity to the public understanding of the role. These accounts revealed a wide range of experiences, from fond memories and lifelong friendships to feelings of exploitation and regret. The legacy.
Have you had this reaction before tonight?
Yes, I think Playboy's been singled out along with, the Miss America contest and some other things as, as the extreme example of what the new feminists feel is the wrong image for women.
The legacy of the Playboy bunny is multifaceted. In fashion, the costume influenced decades of design and remains one of the most imitated outfits in history. In branding, the bunny demonstrated the power of a human icon to personify a corporate identity. In labor history, the role highlighted both the possibilities and dangers of appearance-based work, showing how professionalism and exploitation can coexist within the same system. Ultimately, the Playboy bunny remains one of the most complex figures in modern cultural history. She was at once a fantasy and a worker, a symbol of liberation and a product of control. Understanding her legacy requires acknowledging both the opportunities Playboy created for some women and the limitations it imposed on them. Through the bunny, the history of Playboy becomes a lens through which broader questions about gender, labor, and power can still be examined today. In recent years, renewed interest in the history of Playboy has led to further reevaluation of the bunny's place in cultural memory. Museums, academic studies, and media retrospectives have begun treating the bunny not merely as a novelty or scandal, but as a serious subject of historical inquiry. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think the Playboy bunny still has the allure she once had? Let us know in the comments section below.